It's interesting that God uses questions to speak back, well over 60 of them. And yet underneath, they're all asking the same question. Whose world is this anyway? Who's this world for? You or me? And when we answer that, the content of the speeches starts to make sense. God's world is going to remain wonderfully mysterious, and that mystery is going to come to us not as an agony or a frustration, but as a comfort. So it's time that Job heard from God. It's not that talking is unhelpful, but it's incomplete. When we're going through a hard time, we need God to comfort. And when God does speak, it comes, says the book, like a whirlwind. There's energy, force, outrage even. And the final chapters of Job contain some of the most exhilarating and humbling language in the Bible. But at first glance, you wonder if God can really do pastoral counseling. He seems really angry and anxious to squelch Job. Let's hear a part of God's strange speech. Job, have you ever walked on the ocean floor? Can you arrange the stars in groups like Orion and the Pleiades? Can you shout to the clouds and make rain? Job, who laid out a path for the lightning? Does the rain have a father? Who provides food for the ravens? Is it you who commands the eagle to rise? Job, can you catch sea monsters with a hook? Can you command the morning to appear? Do you have a thundering voice that compares with mine? It's a fierce sounding speech. But how is it an answer to Job's complaint? In fact, at first glance, it almost seems as if God misses the point. Job, do you have a powerful arm and a thundering voice that compares with mine? Well, so what? Is might right? It almost seems as if God taunts Job. If you can't thread rings through the snouts of whales, well then be quiet. I only talk to beings as big as me. But remember, Job never said God wasn't powerful. His issue was, is God fair? And that question does not seem to be addressed. Why has God allowed a world so unfair? Why has he sat by and let Job suffer so much out of all proportion to his sin? Is the creation not a terrible mistake because it is so full of trouble? That's the question, and that question doesn't seem to be addressed by this speech of God at all. And so we're left with this puzzle. How does God's speech answer Job's complaint? Well, it does, wonderfully, but we have to dig for it, like Job had to.